Today you're going to learn some awesome sounding metal power chords, but more than that, I'm going to show you a very unique and interesting picking pattern that you can put with these types of power chords that we're about to learn. Alright, so let's get right down into the meat and potatoes. Now I'm hungry. So there's going to be two parts to this lesson. First, we're just going to learn the basic power chord progression. And again, these are a little bit different power chords than what you might be used to playing. Then I'll go over the picking patterns that we're going to be using to make this thing sound more choppy and just cooler. And there's also going to be some really cool finger movement to go with that as well. Alright, so first let me just play the riff for you out here in the open so you can hear what it sounds like, and then I'll break it down. We're only playing 4 power chords here, by the way, so this part will be pretty simple. There is another way we're going to play this riff, though. We're going to add some more stuff to it to make it a little bit cooler, and that part might get a little bit complex with the picking. But anyway, let's start with just the 4 power chords here. Again, you notice I'm playing these power chords a little bit differently than a normal power chord. So real quick for beginners, and if you're not a beginner, just bear with me for a second here. The basis of a power chord is your root note combined with a 5th note. I'm on a 7-string guitar, by the way, so if you get confused where I'm at, that's probably why, because you're looking at this big B string like, Jason, where are you at, dude? So normally your A power chord would be that 1st string, your E string, 5th fret, and then your A string, 7th fret. For this particular style of power chord that we're playing, and I call these like inverted power chords, what I mean by that is that your finger that plays the 2nd note of the power chord is actually going to be further up the neck than the finger that's playing the root note for that power chord, okay? So in this case, instead of playing the A power chord, which is that root note and the 5th note, I'm playing it like this. And again, that's what I mean by inverted. It's the finger position. That 2nd note, the finger I'm using for that 2nd note, is further up the neck than the root note, the finger I'm using for the root note. So hopefully that makes sense. But that's kind of the basis of playing these power chords. The second thing to remember with these types of power chords, and this is the case for all 4 chords that we're going to be playing here, is that 2nd note that we're hitting, instead of it being the 5th note, right, it's going to be the 3rd note. And this just gives it, I don't know, it's just a really cool sound. I love the way these power chords sound. Maybe you don't want to use them all the time like we're about to do, because this whole part of this song here, and again, I'll talk more about the song at the end of the video, so hang around for that. This part of the song here is based on the power chords using the root note and the 3rd note. And just real quick, what I mean by the 3rd note is your A. We're starting with the A, right? So that A, the next note you're going to hit is going to be the 3rd note that would normally be in that scale. So you've got 1, 2, 3. Well, in this case. Okay, so that's the quick kind of beginner part of that. Now let's move on to all of these chords. So that's the first chord that we're playing, all right, what I'm calling the inverted power chord, or power chord with the 3rd note, whatever you want to call these. We're starting out with the A, then we're going to move to a G, okay? Now what's cool here is the 3rd note for that power chord, for the G power chord, the 3rd note is not quite of a stretch as what we just played for that A. It's like playing just a regular G chord. So if you were to play a regular G, it's just those first 2 notes in playing a regular G. Just pretend you're playing acoustic or something, you're strumming a G. It's just those first 2 notes. That's your root note and your 3rd note. Really cool sound. So again, real easy. We're going from that A, which we've got that stretch, the 1st string. Well, I say 1st string. Remember, I'm playing a 7th string. So the E string, 5th fret, then the A string, 3rd fret. Then we're going, I'll just call it the frets, 3, 2. So 5, 3, 3, 2. Now, the next two chords, exactly the same thing. We're just gonna move over a string. So instead of playing the finger positions we just played on the E and A string, we're gonna move those same finger positions over to the A and the D string. Same thing, and basically what we're playing there is a D. Well, to be correct, it'd be a D minor, but we're playing a D power chord, and then we're going to a C. And the A we're playing, by the way, is really an A minor. The chords, if you're like strumming an acoustic behind these chords, which that actually would sound pretty cool, you'd be playing an A minor, a G, then D minor, and a C. So if you've got somebody to jam with you on this song, have them strum those chords on acoustic while you play that. That would sound really, really cool. But anyway, again, let's just go through that one more time. Then we're going to get to some more right hand or picking hand movement to go along with these chords. I'm going to show you how that sounds, and that's going to be really fun to play. One more time on just the chords, having these ring out. Now, part two to this little really cool sounding power chord riff, we're going to add some movement, and I'm going to play this through out here to just let you hear it, and then we'll break down exactly what I'm doing and what you'll be doing. Now, the beauty of this little part that I'm going to show you is that the second time around, right, remember we're playing A, G. The second time around when you're playing D, C, that's going to be the exact same. So once we learn that first part, we'll automatically know the second part as far as the picking and the finger movement goes, okay? So I'm going to start this out just with the first two chords. I'm going to try to play this as slow as I can, and then we'll kind of break this down further, okay? The only finger movement that we're going to do here is we're going to use that pinky finger to come down on the A string 5th fret. So just do that to get your pinky used to coming down on that note. You're not actually going to play it like that because we're kind of chopping it up back and forth here, but I just wanted you to get those fingers into position beforehand, right? Get that pinky ready to come down on that 5th fret A string beforehand, okay? That way it's already there in that position. And I kind of find it easier to do that when I'm thinking about where I'm going next, right? Is to have those fingers already kind of prepped and mentally ready to go, you know, as that time comes up for that finger to make that movement. Hopefully that makes sense. But you've got yourself prepped here, okay? We're going to strike the chord, the two notes together, the power chord with the 3rd note first. Then I'm going to start by picking that 2nd note, that A string. I'm going to pick that. These are all downstrokes, by the way. We're not doing any alternate picking here. We're just playing downstrokes for all of this. So that might make it a little bit easier for you. Once we hit that chord, those two notes, we're going to hit that 2nd note, 3rd fret A string, and then go back to that 1st string, that E string, okay? So we hit that 2nd note, then we go back and palm mute that 1st note, the E string, 5th fret, twice. Right after that is when we land that pinky on the 5th fret A string. We're going to do the exact same thing, the same cadence and everything on that next chord up, which is our G power chord, but remember we're using that 3rd note. So E and A string, frets 3 and 2. that's it. Let's go through the A. I'm going to go through this really slow. Let's go through the A power chord with the third note and then the G power chord with the third note with all that movement going on. I'll go through this really slow. That's it. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on this second part with the D and the C power chords with the third notes because it's the exact same finger positions, just a string over. We're going to be playing everything we just did, just like when we played the actual chords, playing everything we just did, but instead of E and A string, we're on the A and D strings, but the exact same movement and everything. So let me go through that really, really slow. But again, it's the exact same thing, just a string over. All right, so let's go through this one more time. I'm going to play it at normal speed so you can hear what it sounds like, what it's supposed to sound like, and then I'll slow it down once more for you. Now I let those power chords ring out after I played the part with the movement there because that's how the song goes. Actually, that happens before and after that little part there. Again, I'll talk more about that song in a second here, but let me just go through this kind of a little bit slower for you one more time, okay? And then we'll talk more about the song and we'll have our tone talk. That's going to be cool because you're going to be surprised what channel I used for this thing, by the way. The song you just learned, well, this is only a small part of the song because I wanted to focus on the types of power chords here, but the song is called The Metalizer, and that's track number, I always forget my own tracks. It's track number 7 off of my album Masterpiece that I released in 2019. I do have links to listen to this album in the YouTube description. There's also a link to my shop where you can get the CD and my other merch, so thank you ahead of time for your support on that. So I wanted to bring us back to this corner for our tone talk, and as you may have already guessed, I am using my EVH 5153 amp. This is the 50 watt head with the EL34 tubes. Now, what may surprise you about this tone talk for this video is I didn't use the normal red fire breathing gain channel for this video, and I'll tell you why. But real quick, if you're not familiar with this particular amp, it's got 3 channels. It's got green, blue, and red. So your green is your clean channel. Your blue, man, you can play anything from country to heavy metal with that because it's got such a diverse range of gain stages and different types of tones. Your red channel, it's, again, that fire breathing gain channel, and that's the one I normally use when I'm recording with this amp, especially for metal music. I use the blue channel, though, for 2 reasons. One, it just gives me a real clean distortion, if that makes sense. And for these types of power chords that we're covering, I wanted you to be able to hear the notes being pronounced as I played them. Sometimes when you've got a higher gain channel, those notes are, I don't want to say they're muffled, but they're not articulated quite as well. So the blue channel here, and I did have the gain cranked up quite a bit for this channel, I also had an MXR distortion pedal with the distortion all the way down, using that kind of as like you would use any kind of overdrive pedal. I know some people think it's funny I'm using the distortion pedal for that, but it kind of operates in the same manner when you're using it for the purpose of cleaning up that tone a little bit. And for this particular amp, for this channel, this blue channel here, it kind of acts like some of the older amps, and I think it was designed this way to have to use that OD in front of it just to clean it up a little bit. Now the red channel, you don't need an OD at all. The gain is just like, again, it's fire-breathing gain. That's the best way I can describe it. But the blue channel has a little bit more clarity for the purpose of this video and just trying to show you the notes and articulate those notes for you. Now the second reason is I'm not recording this amp with a mic. I'm just recording this video, me talking and you hearing the amp being played with a Rode video mic NTG. Is sitting on top of my camera here. And it's going to pick up whatever noise is in the room along with me talking, as opposed to me recording the amp and then having to go back and sync the audio and video together. For these lessons, I didn't really want to have to do all that syncing. I wanted to be able to just play and talk and just kind of like move about freely without having to worry about syncing the guitar audio, the recorded audio with the video later. Hopefully that made sense. Now, again, the second reason why I use the blue channel, recording like this with a mic, just hearing everything in the room. If I were to use the red channel, I get some noise, and I'm going to see if you can hear this. You hear that? It's like watching a staticky TV or something, you know? So that's that red channel. And now that has nothing to do with the noise gate. I've got my noise gate on. That's just the noise from the amp itself using that red channel. Now when you're on stage playing this, of course you're not really gonna hear that because of just the noise all around you, but here in the room it's like, man, that's pretty loud staticky noise. Now there may be a way to eliminate that, and if there is, please by all means leave a comment and let me know, because I'd love to know. But anyway, that's why I use the blue channel. I'm back on the blue channel now, and there's hardly no noise at all. There's a little bitty hum back there, but nothing like this. Alright, so that was the other reason why I used the blue channel. But again, I like the clarity that this channel gives. Now, my settings real quick, I'll put these on the screen for you. I had my lows boosted a little bit because I'm just playing on my own out here. If I were recording something for a full mix, I'm going to back those lows off, because I want the bass guitar and the drums to carry those lower frequencies, not my guitar. But when you're playing on your own, your EQ is a little bit different. I do have my mids cut a little bit, and I've got my treble boosted here. My presence for pretty much all my settings on this amp stays at about 4. Now I didn't go over the gain. So the gain, I did have the gain cranked up quite a bit here. And again, that's because this blue channel, you've got such a range of tone you can get by messing with that gain setting. So you can put it on full on gain and you're going to get some really nice heavy metal, and pretty much any subgenre of metal you want to play with that, you can pull it off. But you can also back the gain off quite a bit and just get more of those gritty tones for other styles of music as well. So that's another thing I love about this channel and the amp in general. And again, I had a noise gate. I've got my MXR Smart Gate on here, and I've got the MXR Classic Distortion. I use that as an overdrive just to kind of clean that tone up a little bit. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up. That really helps my channel, and I do appreciate all your support. I really hope this lesson helped you as well. I hope learning these different types of power chords and just the progression that we played in this video and all the movement that we added to it, I really hope that helps you, and I hope it sparks some more creative ideas for your own writing and your own songs. So again, I hope this helped you. Until the next video, as always, keep it metal.